Welcome, lads, ladies and gentlemen, to a new video. So recently, as you may have seen, I've been talking heavily about why I think we should be getting hyped for Vanguard Zombies. But for this video, I want to quickly drag Vanguard into the crosshairs for a second and talk about 5 things it absolutely needs in order to be successful. Quick plug before we start though, Vanguard Zombies will mark the first time that I myself will be taking a shot at full-time content creation, so do be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to jump in on that sweet zombies content. But anyway, let's get cracking, and in no particular order, let's jump into the first point, and that is don't break the formula. Now, experimentation is good. Experimentation is great. It's how zombies first came to be, and it's how it's managed to evolve into what we love. Now, while World at War and Black Ops 1 built the consistent foundation for the mode, you look at Black Ops 2, for example, and you see a lot of hit and miss maps. The reason for this is that every single one was a brand new experiment. Some ideas stuck and some ideas didn't, but I'd absolutely label Black Ops 2 as the experimental phase of zombies, and whether you liked it or not, it absolutely was necessary. Because you then look at Black Ops 3 and how absolutely brilliant that game was, and you ask yourself, would those maps have come to be if not for maps like Origins or Blood of the Dead? Absolutely not. Black Ops 3 was the result of Treyarch having learnt what we love and compiling the best elements into one perfected formula. It catered for people like myself who enjoy the raw gameplay elements brought forward by the older games, but also appealed to the quest-loving fanatics of the modern fanbase. But then Black Ops 4 happened, and apparently they just forgot how a foundation works. The core elements that supported all of the experimentation of the past was now tampered with. A new perk system that nobody really enjoyed, the Gobblegum system being expanded into a horrendously overbearing elixir system, and honestly the list goes on. At this point you all know how it goes. But then Cold War, and you know what? Whilst it may not quite feel as good as Black Ops 3, I still like it. I like the simple HUD, I like that it's customizable, I like that the old perks are back, I love the fact that you can collect crystals and upgrade abilities, and I adore the fact that Gobblegums, elixirs, and really any kind of pay to win element was completely stripped away. Bravo! So keep it this way. Don't do a Black Ops 4, please don't break the formula. The core formula is why us zombie fans are even here. We want innovation, yes, but we don't want a game that straight up doesn't feel like Treyarch Zombies. Moving on to the second point, we have dedicated weapon balancing. So yes, Cold War does have dedicated weapon stats for zombies, but this without doubt is flawed and needs serious improvement. Firstly, let's address the elephant in the room. Treyarch, why the hell did you nerf the ray gun? Like, why nerf a wonder weapon in a co-op game mode? Sure, you could argue in the comments that it would make XP grinding too easy, but there are ways to handle that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I recall in Black Ops 3, for example, that you got more XP for headshots than you would have done for body shots or knife kills. So I mean, you could very much easily just implement a wonder weapon kill XP rate, for example. I mean, when this game was new, getting the ray gun was as exciting as it was in World at War again, and it was just such a great feeling to relive. And whilst the ray gun is still decent, it just doesn't hit the same since its nerf, and it kind of makes me sad. But this doesn't just apply to wonder weapons, this also trickles down into general weaponry. Now, in my opinion, if Vanguard keeps the same Cold War approach of allowing players to choose a starting weapon and have all of the wall buys increase in power over time, I think that different weapon classes need cohesive balancing. What I mean by this, for example, is shotguns shouldn't just be the go-to choice, and snipers similarly shouldn't be the thing that you avoid like the plague. Different classes should be able to offer a balanced level of pros and cons to allow different preferences and gameplay styles all to flourish and be worth embracing. Take snipers, for example. If they're really slow, sluggish, or need to be bolted after every shot, make them shots do stupid amounts of bullet penetration to make snipers a great choice for straight line encounters. Expanding on this, make certain melee weapons like swords capable of slashing more than one zombie at a time, and so on. Of course, there should still be the occasional trash weapon just for fun challenge purposes, but my point is, people who want to survive or pull great numbers on a scoreboard shouldn't have to restrict themselves to only 1 or 2 types of weapon. This also seamlessly segues into point 3, and that is the resurrection of interesting pack-a-punch variants. Now, I know the weapon customization in Vanguard is absolutely huge, so huge in fact that you could very easily create interesting weapon variants in Creator class without relying on the pack-a-punch to spice up your weapon. Previously though, with pack-a-punch, certain weapons would convert firing mode, some would turn explosive, and so on. So whilst now attachments can handle that kind of change, it has in turn removed remove that spark that you got in the old days from wondering what would happen when upgrading certain weapons. One solution to this that I'd love to see is some kind of optional special upgrade tier. An upgrade tier that completely overhauls select weaponry in an attempt to reignite that curious spark. This is an idea that has already been explored with mods for Black Ops 3, such as the Modern Warfare Zombies mod and the First Cycle. Certain weapons within these mods have some really awesome unique ideas for when they're upgraded. This MP5K, for example, when upgraded fires ricocheting bullets that annihilate enemies in its wake. This Bulldog gets equipped with some badass incendiary plasma rounds. There's even a blunderbuss that summons power from the sun gods. And of course there are nods to classic Treyarch ideas such as the crossbow that attracts zombies. If this was just implemented at the Pack-a-Punch as an optional tier that you don't even have to use, it would just be a fun little idea that brings back that excitement to a previously much loved feature. But the point I'm making is that the Pack-a-Punch used to be cool and now it's bland, and that in my opinion needs addressing. Jumping into point 4 is a simple one. The number 4 in fact plays a crucial role. Treyarch, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, please, for the love of goodness, don't leave us with 4 round-based maps like in Cold War. Map 4 for this game has been confirmed, but we haven't even seen it yet, and it's September. And whether you like Outbreak or not, there's undoubtedly a divide. There's already a divide as it is in Call of Duty between people who enjoy zombies and people who don't. And now there's a divide within this divide of people who like Outbreak and people who don't. Now, Outbreak, in my opinion, is a great filler and bridge between round-based map releases, but in my eyes, round-based maps are still the most enjoyable, replayable, and sought-after experiences in the Zombies mode. And the reality is that 4 maps in a Zombies game by today's standards simply isn't enough to keep its head above water, and Vanguard desperately needs to break out of this problem. And now there's 2 ways of looking at how likely it actually will do this. I mean, first is the negative perspective of saying Vanguard will naturally fall short of content because Treyarch have been making zombies for it at the same time as maintaining updates for Cold War. But then there's this second positive outlook of saying, well, Treyarch, an entire dev team, is working solely on zombies for Vanguard without having to worry about multiplayer, Warzone, or campaign this time around. If you want my prediction, we'd likely start off with a small offering from Vanguard, but with a much more vast rollout of zombies content in the game's future. But that's all predictions, and frankly, that's not the point that I'm trying to make here. All I want to say with point 4 is that Vanguard desperately needs more round-based maps than that of Cold War. The 5th and final point that I want to make for this video is a big one for me, and that is embrace the time period. This is an exciting time for zombies. A full-on World War II setting for Treyarch's vision of zombies has not been done since World at War. Sure, since that game's release, we've had other maps set in the 1940s, but not an entire Treyarch Zombies experience within a World War II game. This era naturally is dark, it's gritty, it's unforgiving, and savagely brutal. And World at War managed to bring this overwhelmingly dark aura into zombies without the use of jump scares or anything like that. It was just genuinely horrifying. You felt alone, you felt fearful, and if you go back to this game, you'd realize it wasn't just because we were younger back then. The sound design of these maps, the color palettes used, the grunts, the effects, the gore, all of it just made World at War the kind of game to pull you straight into the darkness of the zombies mode. This essence needs to come back. Just imagine a map where Requiem or Omega have no means of keeping tabs on you or update you about what's going on. We could have a share of zombies maps, albeit not all of them, that don't give an abundance of clues to the Easter egg quest so that the hardcore hunters can spring back out and embrace the challenge again like the old days. The bottom line is that this is the first time in 12 years that Treyarch are going to be handling anything for a World War II themed Call of Duty game, and thus it's time for Treyarch and especially their incredible sound department to inject that terrifying World at War atmosphere back into this mode. The potential here is huge, and if done right, I know it sounds cliche, but for what I personally enjoy about this mode, it's looking like Vanguard could be set up to be my all-time favorite zombies experience. But with all of these 5 points comes just as much an opportunity for things to go wrong. Though this year I do have faith that this mode will be set back on the right track again, and if any of these 5 things are lived up to, it's going to be a pretty exciting time to be a zombies fan. So let me know down below what your must-haves are for this game, and that just about wraps up this video, lads, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy it, be sure again to show that with a like and by jumping in on this channel by subscribing. But much love, stay safe, and I hope to catch you soon. Cheers. Kaboom.